Hi everybody, and welcome to This is Ibrox on what is the eve of Rangers in the Europa League final in Seville against Eintracht Frankfurt. How are you doing, Andy? Are you able to sleep at this moment in time? What's the emotions going through your head?
I'm quite sure, Kyle, it's the same as every other Rangers fan on this planet. Sleep's not great. Sleep's not great. I think I've had, all in all, 7 hours the last 2 nights.
Yeah.
4, and then last night was 3. I'm hoping it's not going to be 2 tonight, because I could do with a sleep with what my plans are tomorrow. It's just the first thing in my mind when I wake up. It's the last thing in my mind when I go to sleep. It's consuming me.
Yeah.
All day, every day. I'm one of the unfortunate ones, if you like, that I'm not going to make it to Seville. I'm sure we'll get to other people's thingies about that shortly. But I'm thoroughly looking forward to what I'm doing. But because I'm organising a kind of event if you like, for 30 to 40 people, that's on my mind as well. I'm hoping it goes off without a hitch. But first and foremost, it's nerves towards Rangers. And that I've spoke to people at length about this over the last few days, and I'm sure we all have. There'll be folks sick of the sight of speaking to us about it as Rangers fans. That it boils down to basically, this is our chance. This is our chance. It's as simple as that, Kyle. If you were to say right now, out of the next 10 years, Rangers will be in the UEFA Cup final, Europa League final, 5 times out of the next 10 years, you're never going to face 12th place in the Bundesliga and that again. This is our chance, and I'm positive that's where the nerves are coming from, for me anyway.
Yeah, I'm the exact same. I'm up, I'm down. I'm confident sometimes, and other times I'm just happy that we're there. But as you said, is it 5 times in 150 years of our magnificent club that this has happened. It is, with the financial gulf in football nowadays, and I mean the fact that we have effectively got to a final of a major European competition with the budget that we have, I think there's an argument, if we go on to win this, it's one of the greatest sporting achievements that just not just in football but just in sport in general, because I'm so overwhelmed at times by the occasion, and I'm, we were having a chat before, and that we've just been enjoying, going on Twitter and seeing all the Bears, all the way they've been making their way there, all the fantastic routes and journeys and all that stuff. And you were telling us a wee story about your pal that's over there.
He flew out. He flew Callum. He flew Glasgow to London Sunday night. Stayed over in London Sunday night and flew early direct to Seville Monday morning. He's over there. He secured a ticket this afternoon, or this morning, for 1,100 quid. He spoke to me about it, and he said, "What if it's a fake?" I says, "Listen, you're the one that in your hand. I don't know. It's how do you spot a fake? You don't." So he's bought it on the hope he could be in the stadium for when hopefully we lift this trophy. But what we were laughing about before was the most understated text I've ever received in my life. He must have been full of the joys last night after many a drinks, I would imagine, and text me, "You would love it over here, Andy." Really? There's 100,000 Rangers fans in bars singing songs and drinking lager in the 30-degree heat. I'm quite sure I probably would, Callum. Yes, I'm quite sure I probably would. But seeing all the stories on Twitter and STV News at 6 and Clyde One all day, there's weird and wonderful ways people are making it there, and there's people flying from Australia via Abu Dhabi. Now, I don't know what it was on, whether it was the STV News or the radio. But somebody actually flew from Australia to Abu Dhabi, then to Glasgow, and is making his way from Glasgow. So that's continent to continent to continent. It's absolutely frightening, the loyalty or support. It's fantastic, and I just love seeing. You can never tire of seeing videos of people sunburnt to a crisp, bright red, typical Glaswegian second day in Spain in 36-degree heat. Bright red, not caring, just singing his heart out, having a great time. And what I really do find endearing is I've seen a couple of Twitter videos from Frankfurt fans saying how well they're all getting on, and that's exactly the way it should be. Let's face it, that's exactly the way it should be. And I think it will be the way it is going to be. right through this whole kind of next couple of days. Win, lose or draw, I think it will be like that. But it's fantastic to see, and part of me is not part of me. All of me is thoroughly looking forward to my plans tomorrow evening. But there's something there that I would love to be over there. I would thoroughly love to be over there, but it's impossible this time. But hopefully next.
Yeah, no, it's a great point there. I've actually been enjoying the videos. I don't know if you saw the one where the Frankfurt supporters and the Rangers supporters were sort of singing back and forth each other, and I sort of seen it. I was like, it just sums up, and the fact that even we've got members of our own This Is Ibrox community over there, and I'm really enjoying. I mean, I was working most of the day, but that was what kept me going through the day, was the fact that these guys are posting their videos and their wee stories, and we've got Crawford over there. He's over there with his dad. That must be like a really special thing to go and enjoy it.
Definitely.
It's so superb seeing everybody just having a good time, and long may it continue. We'll try and do a wee bit of analysis. I think on the team, and who we think is going to play. What tactics are we going to adopt? An interesting. I watched the press conference from Gio today, and he sort of dropped in there that Kamal Roof would be fit and available. What's your thoughts on that? Would you have him in the team?
No. As a short answer, no, I wouldn't, Kyle, and I'll tell you for why. He's not going to be sharp enough, is he? Let's face it. He's been out the game for 4, possibly 5 weeks, is it? Yeah. That said, it's a massive boost to have him there. It's a massive boost to have him there for no other reason than it makes Frankfurt think. They've got to think now. They've got a recognised striker. They might have been planning for us without one, and that got us here. But to have Kemar Roof fit and available is a lift. But no, I don't think I would start him. Kemar Roof has proven just how good he can score goals. He can score goals out of nothing. He's a fantastic finisher. When he's not quite 100% fit, which he can't be. He can be 100% fit as in he's fit, but he's not 100% match fit. I think it's quite important that to have somebody on the bench who can come on, perhaps when the game's tiring a wee bit, which is going to have to be. I think both ourselves and Frankfurt will have to manage the heat to quite some extent. I think having Kemar Roof to come off the bench, if required, is a massive boost. So no, I don't think I would start him, but to have him there and fit, it's got to be a lift in my opinion. We'll get to the team selection quite shortly, I am sure, and I'll give that some thought between now and then, because I'm not fully settled on who I would pick there. But no, I'm happy that he's fit and available, and that's going to have to be a lift. What I did find interesting though was the WhatsApp and Twitter rumours yesterday when the picture got released. I came a Roof on the plane.
Yeah.
Who was the guy? Was it Morelos? Was it Kamara? We couldn't quite tell, and that was to throw all sorts of rumours up. But I think it just came too quickly for Alfredo. Yeah. I think we all knew that. We just all hoped. But no, I think having Kemar Roof fit is a bonus, and one I think we should use properly. And no, if I was a Rangers manager right now, I don't think I would start him.
Yeah, no, I'm in complete agreement with you on that one. I think we've actually found quite a nice balance, especially in the Leipzig games at home. And I know the crowd was a massive factor, but I thought Aribo was quite good through the middle at times and really caused them issues. It was one of those funny ones. I generally thought that we were playing a bit of mind games, or Roof was playing a bit of mind games, and he was, I don't know if you saw the Instagram post that he had of his Europa League Cup final shin pads, and the fact that he had was in like cryo chambers and things like that. I was absolutely convinced there was no way he was going to be fit, and it was just us, trying to do a bit of with Frankfurt. But I'm glad he is an option on the bench, because if I've said it once, I've said it 100 times. If you get the ball in the box, you've got a sharp Kemar Roof, he will find the back of the net. So
I agree. Something
else. So I think we'll come on to what we think our team lineups will be. We'll start off with the keeper. Is there a question there? Is he going to change it? It's going to be McGregor. And I think on a personal note, given the fact that he's one of 2 members of this current squad that were in the 2008 UEFA Cup final, he missed out on that through injury. So I think it's quite a bit poetic almost that he'll be starting in Seville. Back 4. How was your back 4, Andy?
It's Tav, Goldson, Bassey and Barisic for me. I think that speaks for itself, in my opinion. I think it will be. I think it should be. There is a small argument to include Balogun in that, but the team that got us from the semis to here, I think is good enough to go on tomorrow night. And I think the back four will speak for itself. It's when it gets that next step, the midfield and the forwards, that's going to be intriguing. For anybody's opinion, I'm asking anybody for their opinion on who we should play here. I've kind of got mine. I'd rather you went first, right enough, Kyle, but I've kind of got my 3 and 3, if you like. But let's hear yours first, mate.
So I think Jack and Lundstrom speak for themselves. And it's does Ramsey start, isn't it? That's I think
that's exactly it.
What his mind is. Does Ramsey start? It's a tough one because he is a fantastic player. He's one of the genuine, what I think you could class as, or maybe he's not shown it at times due to his injuries, but he is world class. He has performed in Euros, in Serie A, and the Premier League, the Champions League at very high levels. I saw his interview with him and he was talking about how massive a game this is, and I'm not sure Gio will start him, to be honest with you, because for what it's worth, I think he's more than likely not going to be there next season, and it doesn't owe him any loyalty. And I'm not sure. I can't see him starting, to be honest with you, but I can see him featuring at some point in the game. But I'm not sure. But who do you put in there? I would go with Kamara, based on Leipzig. What about yourself? I can see you humming and hawing. I'm not sure how. What do you think?
Totally agree. I totally agree with you. I would start Kamara tomorrow night for 2 reasons. 1, Leipzig, and 2, I think as the game wears on tomorrow night, as tight as it may be, when people start to tire, I think Aaron Ramsey's the perfect player to pick that pass where the space may be. And if he can come on and do that as a fresh pair of legs, I think that's invaluable. I really, really do. There is a massive argument to start him. He was brought to this club for big games, and there's no bigger game. There's no bigger game than tomorrow night, and he's been brought for this. And it does seem very strange to say that you're leaving out Aaron Ramsey in a Europa League final. But my gut feeling is he'll start with Kamara, and he'll bring Ramsey on with a fresh set of legs to try and pick apart a defence which should be tiring come near the end of the game. I can see that happening, and I would start Glenn Kamara.
Yeah, I'm in total agreement with you there. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, the thing about, I know this is maybe going back a wee bit as well, about this sort of Balogun, does he start, does he not start? I think that's the whole point of having Lundstrom in the team. I think he'll sit back at times with that back five when they're Frankfurt are quick on the counter-attack. I mean, let's not underestimate them at all. They are undefeated in this whole tournament, and they put out, okay, at the time, not a brilliant Barca squad, but it was still a pretty decent Barcelona squad. But yeah, I can certainly see that being a tactic being used. The front three, I think that's another tricky dilemma. I think Kent, I think we can both agree Kent will play. It's too important a player to not be starting this game. The next question mark, Scott Wright. Do you think it'll be him? Do you think he's done enough over the past few games to get a shout starting in this, which is absolutely bonkers, by the way, that I think we're talking about Scott Wright starting this?
It's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. But yes, I do. I do. I think he's done enough. And there is something that's telling me in the heat. I know I keep talking about the heat, but it's going to be such a big factor. I think, as you say, Frankfurt are a good counter-attacking team. In fact, I think they're the best counter-attacking team in the league, as in the stats prove. I think having a fast left and a fast right winger, if you like, I know that they don't always play as wingers. I think that's going to be invaluable tomorrow night. I think having Scott Wright and Ryan Kent left and right, I think is going to be massively invaluable. And we've shown how often when our wingers, in inverted commas, square up to defenders, goals come from the back post. And I think they too are capable of doing that tomorrow night. it's weird. You're thinking of Scott Wright for a Europa League semi-final, especially as we've just discussed that Aaron Ramsey might not start.
Yeah,
It makes it even more strange. However, I think that's what he's going to go with tomorrow night. And if I was in that manager's office, I think that's what I would probably do as well.
yeah, and the front, the sort of focal point of the attack, the false nine or whatever you want to call it. Who do you think will be in that position?
It's got to be Joe Aribo. It's got to be Joe Aribo. It can be no other. Sakala, lovely guy, and I think there might be a part for him to play tomorrow night as well.
Yep.
I don't doubt that. I just think when it comes to strength and guile, if you like, Joe Aribo's your man. I don't think there's many better than him for tomorrow night for that. And okay, he took a sore one in the face at Ibrox, but he was doing absolutely perfectly, apart from missing from 3 or 4 yards out. But the more you watch it, the more it's not quite as easy as it first looked. It came at him at some pace, we've seen players do that, and we'll see players do that again. I think he'll cope fine with that tomorrow night. I think it'll be Joe Aribo. What about yourself?
Yeah, I think it'll be a Joe Aribo as well. He's got too much. It's that word, guile. He's so good with his feet, isn't he? And he just puts a question mark in defenders' heads. But I think a very underrated part of his game is his ability to win the ball back and quite far up the pitch at times. He's you never know what he's going to do. I think he's just. I think he's grown into that role over the last few games as well. Leipzig was certainly, been baptism of fire, having never seen him play in that position for Rangers before. But I think he was unlucky not to score in that game with his sort of missed time shot. So we'll be hoping about something again like that. But maybe playing a wee bit of devil's advocate here. But somebody we've seen in the last couple of games, Dundee United, Ross County, Alec Lowry. What's your thoughts? Would you be including him? Would you see not a starting place, but could you see him being involved in the game at some point? Purely because I think, hear me out on this, all right? I'm not saying he'll start, and I'm not saying he'll make an appearance or anything like that. But I always thought that, especially Walter Smith in big games, always chucked a youngster in because the opposition weren't expecting it, and it was just something. Do you think it could be possibly in Gio's thinking, or am I just talking nonsense?
I don't think so, mate. I don't think so. That said, it was you and I in the last podcast, wasn't it? And we spoke after the was it Ross County?
Ross County, it was, yeah.
These young players are fearless, Kyle. Absolutely fearless. I've got no doubt if you flung Alec Lowry in the middle of that park tomorrow night, he would just play his own game. It's folk always talk about he's not got the experience, they've never played in these kind of games. I don't think it daunts them as much as it used to. These young players, they're fantastic at that. They believe in themselves. I don't think it's a game for him tomorrow night. Might be wrong. You could be exactly right. I think it would take something quite serious to happen to somebody for Alec Lowry to be a consideration tomorrow night.
Yeah.
In the future, I'm quite sure we'll be talking about him as leading lines all over Rangers if he stays, as long as I want him to stay. But I just think tomorrow night, I don't think so, mate. No, I don't think that'll be a factor at all.
No, I agree with you. I thought I would ask. Yeah, seeing as he's been.
May as well ask.
He's been so good. Maybe in the Scottish Cup final, but we'll see see what state the team's in at that point.
Exactly.
Maybe something we haven't discussed. Maybe don't want to catch you off guard with this one, but it's certainly something that we and This Is Ibrox WhatsApp group have been talking about. We thought it was a brilliant question. We put it out on Twitter, and we've received some fantastic responses with it. But put yourself in those brown brogues of Van Bronckhorst tomorrow. You're in the dressing room. It's 20 minutes before kickoff. What are you going to say to the team? What's your words? What's the last thing you're going to say to the guys as they go out?
Oh, I don't know how I would play that. I really don't know how I would play that. My heart would be telling me to start shouting and screaming at them, just because that's as if they don't realise how much I want Rangers to win this. I'm sure they do. I don't know how I would get that across to them. I would probably just you're going to have to tell them, listen, look how often we talk about the 72 team, and look how often other teams roll out their European trophy winning teams from all over Britain. They're legends. They're immortal within the club. I don't think you would have to understate that to them. I think they know that. I really do think these modern players know. They see what goes on in clubs now. They're all on social media. They all know how much we talk about how proud of our past winners of these competitions are. You shouldn't have to tell them much, but I think you should probably reinforce it. And I would probably like to do that. If they could fly me to Seville tomorrow night to just speak to that team, I would happily do it. Yeah. And I would probably break down crying and explain to them how much this means to me and 300,000, 400,000 others worldwide, possibly even more. But I don't think I would have to. I really don't. I think this group of players get it. I really, really do. Start with our captain. I think he understands it, and I think he gets it. And I've got no doubt it won't just be Gio that will be saying this to the other players tomorrow night. I think Tavernier will be saying it as well, because he does understand. What about yourself, Kyle? How would you approach the team to explain what to do tomorrow night?
I would try and be calm about it. I think, as you said, there is a chance for these guys to make them immortal in the great history of our football club. I mean, it's 90 minutes. You've got to go out and give everything. I don't think we're saying anything untoward by saying I don't think many of these guys will get a chance to do something like this again in their careers. It is a one-off game. You have got to go out and give everything. You've got to do it for your families, for the supporters worldwide. And we've heard how fantastically all the players have spoken about Jimmy Bell and what he means to them, and what how the impact that he's had just in nurturing some of these guys, and with a tough love, but he's got to be very much at the forefront of their minds when they're doing this, and I hope they go out and give a really good account of themselves. They've done all the hard work. I mean, I don't doubt for a second that guys like Boss and Mackay and Van Bronckhorst, they've got top quality analysis, and it was one of the first things that they introduced was having their own analysing team. So, and it seems to have worked. We've gone out, we've done the bigger occasions, and it'll be interesting to see how many Rangers supporters are in that stadium tomorrow night. And again, I think that could be a real fact game. But yeah, they've got to go out, and it goes without saying, give everything, and you will be remembered forever. Basically, as you said, 50 years ago, almost the day that we were in Barcelona in 1972, and we are still at Ibrox singing songs about Willie Johnston and Colin Steven, and it'll never be forgotten. That maybe something along those lines. Maybe not as long-winded as that, but yeah, that's.
I understand, mate.
I would go and give it to them. Something you've sort of touched on as well. You gave us a real interesting stat there about the heat in Seville at the moment. It being about. How hot did you say it was, out of interest?
Kick-off tonight, it said on my phone anyway that it was 36 degrees at 8 p.m.
Do you think that'll play a factor tomorrow then, or?
It's going to have to.
Yeah.
It's going to have to, mate. It's going to have to be managed properly. Thankfully, I think, by both teams. This isn't a Spanish team or a... one of those hot countries, Portuguese team, something who possibly used to it and excel at it. Even I think Frankfurt, I don't know much about Frankfurt's weather, but I don't imagine it being massively hot like a Spanish, almost coastal city. I don't think it will be like that, so I think it'll have to be managed. I'd be interested, I'll need to look into it. Just when we talked about the pod, what we're going to speak about there, I thought about the heating and what I'd read. I wonder if there's water breaks. I need to look into that. Whether there's a certain heat that's got to be there for water breaks, I don't know. I think it's going to have to be managed. I think our game, especially at Ibrox this year in the Europa League, has been quite a high press and quite intense. Yeah. I don't know if that can be done for 90 minutes tomorrow night. I really don't believe it can. So that's going to have to be managed. But it's the same for Frankfurt as well. So the boys will just be, they'll have a plan for it. I'm quite sure.
Yeah, that's it. My understanding. I've not heard anything about water breaks or anything like that. I've assumed it would have been brought up in a press conference or something like that. So maybe there might be the odd maybe if we indulge in the dark arts a wee injury for a wee water break every now and again wouldn't go amiss.
Aye.
We'll see. It's just I don't really know what else to say. I'm so.
I think we should possibly finish this pod by you telling us your plans for tomorrow.
Okay.
We all know mine. We all know that I've booked a hall out and there's friends coming and we've got a big screen and all the rest of it, and that sounds fantastic and I can't wait. But I think you've got some big plans, Kyle, do you not?
Well, I said it's all happened very quickly. We were having a discussion about it before, but I was a wee bit delayed. But I mean, literally within the last 24 hours, events have transpired that I am now going to be in Seville, and all going well, I will be in that stadium at the final. And as I was saying to you, I could barely talk to you when I was talking about it. I just, again, I'm so overwhelmed, and I can't wait to just get there. And I really hope we do it. And if they do, it will no doubt be one of the greatest nights of my life that I've ever experienced. Being able to go and see the team that I've supported since I was a wee boy. I've had all the strips, and being able to go and just see them lift one of the major tournaments in world football is scary thinking about it. I'm getting the hair standing up in the back of my neck, because you don't want to jinx it, or you don't want to say anything, but they've been so good at times throughout this tournament. Every time we've thought, what are they going to do? So can they do it? And they've just proven us wrong again and again. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting over there, and I don't really have much to pack. I'm in and out in 24 hours, so I'll be all going well. I'll be back in Glasgow on Thursday by about 1 o'clock. So yeah, and hopefully we've got some good news, and I'm sure there'll be lots of pictures getting sent into the group chat with it. But yeah, I can't wait. I really can't wait. I'm just so excited to get over there, and I didn't think this was a possibility, and I'm genuinely over the moon that I'm just going and I'm getting to experience it all.
So I'm delighted for you, mate. And you were right what you just said there at the start. You telling us what to do there, that you couldn't really speak to me. When you told me that you had the ticket for the cup final, I thought you meant the Scottish. You were playing it that cool, but that's what I thought you meant.
Yeah.
But it just shows, that's just how overwhelmed you are. I can see that in your face, mate. And I, for one, I'm delighted for you. I'm sure anybody listening to this, I'm quite sure you're listening to this if you are, on Wednesday afternoon, killing time till 8 p.m. kick-off. So I'm quite sure we're all over the moon for you, mate. I'm really delighted for you, and go over there and have a blast. And personally, I hope that we're celebrating that much that you miss your plane home, and I don't see you until whenever. And I couldn't care less, mate. I could not care less. I don't care about your weekend's plans, your next week's plans. If you're celebrating us lifting that trophy, I couldn't care less, pal.
I know, just the thought of it is so exciting. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity, this, and it's just I'm so grateful to be given a chance to get there. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. But listen, Andy, it's been a pleasure. It could be a big moment the next time we talk to each other, and there might be pods throughout the summer for it. So yeah, here's hoping. I think good luck to the team. All the work's already done, and everybody's behind you. That's all from myself. And if you just take care, everybody, and that's us. See you later.
Cheers, mate. Cheers, pal.
Bye.